Hello and welcome to the Faded Wildflower Crochet. My name is Rachel. We're doing this video from the couch today because I need to be comfy and cozy because this is going to be a long one. Because today I am going to be tier ranking every single new yarn that I tried in 2024. So go ahead, get comfy and cozy, grab a snack, grab a drink, grab whatever project you're currently working on, and let's get started. Okay, so here is my tier list. Now, I did do this video once before, about 6 months ago, and I thought about not including any of those yarns on this list, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and include every single yarn because maybe my opinions have changed on some of them. Maybe they haven't. We will see. So let's go ahead and read the names of my tiers. I did name them after memes this time instead of doing the punny names. So here at the top, we have talented, brilliant, incredible, show-stopping, never been done before. You guys know this meme. So that is for my very, very top tier yarns. Then we have very demure, very mindful. We all know this meme as well. Now these are for those yarns they're that girl. They're not like those other girls, but they're not quite the tippity top. They're good though. They're good. Now we have holding space, which is the meme of the moment right now. But these are the yarns that I really just, I like them. They're not bad. I'm not going to throw them out, but they're not the best either. Middle of the road. So now we have This Is Fine, which are yarns that I tolerate for one reason or another, but they're not really that great. And then we have for the bottom tier, Brother, This is by far my most said I say this probably every single day. What's that, brother? So these are the worst of the worst, the most terrible yarns that I've tried this year. And I can really only think of a few that are going to go in this list. You guys probably already know if you've been watching this channel which ones are going to go in that list. But we will see. Now, here are my list of yarns right here. Now, most of these I did try in a Will It On Me video, but again, my opinions may have changed since that video. So I think it still could be interesting for you guys to see. I think all of these but one I've at least mentioned on the channel, but I haven't given the full review on all of these. But these are all of the yarns that were new to me in 2024. And I did accidentally put Red Heart Super Saver Brushed on here twice. If you've ever made one of these tier lists before, can you tell me how to remove a picture? Because I cannot figure it out. So I have that on here twice. We're just going to ignore that. And I have these in absolutely no particular order. We're just going to go for it. So we're going to start right here with Bernat Fluffy. I'm going to put this one in This Is Fine. I didn't love this yarn. I didn't hate this yarn, but I disliked it more than I liked it. I don't think that it needs to go in holding space because the truth is with the holding space category are typically yarns that I probably would buy again, but they're just not the best. With this one, I don't see myself ever buying it again. I didn't like how much it shed. So we're just going to keep it right there in that category. I could see why some people would like it. It's not really my thing. Okay, we already have Big Twist t-shirt. You guys know where this is going to go. Straight to Brother. I cannot stand this yarn. Of the t-shirt yarns that I've tried, this one is definitely the worst. It is so thick. It is so stiff. You can't get your tension right. It's just, you can come sit by me. We're going to have a co-host for the show today, although you probably can't see her. She's being very restless right now. Let's go to now Bernat Lattice, not Lattice. I was so annoyed with myself editing that video and I pronounced it lattice or no. See, I want to say Lattice, but the right pronunciation is lattice. Bernat Lattice. I like this yarn. I think I'm going to put this in Very Demure, Very Mindful. I have not reused any of the skein that I bought, to be honest with you, but I really want to. I really want to make a hat out of the rest of that skein of yarn. I think it would be really nice. I enjoy this one much more than I thought. I love the texture of it, but I don't think it's quite my top tier because it's not something I think about or want to use that often. Like I said, I still have most of a skein sitting on my shelf. But I do think this winter I am going to make a hat with it. I'm saying that now. I hope I hope we stick to that. Okay, now we have Juicy Couture Luxe Velour Sparkle, which was the very first yarn I tried for a Will It On Me video. Do not go watch that video. It is very bad. But this yarn is very good. Okay, I want to put it in the top tier. I think I put it in the top tier last time, if I'm not mistaken. See, I don't even remember where. I didn't go back and watch that video, so I don't know where I placed these. I think I put it in my top tier before, but honestly, I'm going to put it in the second tier this time because the price keeps me from wanting to buy it, if I'm honest. And I think I may have mentioned that last time, but if you can find this on sale, that's great. I also don't love that it doesn't come with very much yardage per skein. But as far as the yarn itself goes, I do really like it. So, I am tempted to put it in the top. But also, I will say that I didn't put the regular version on here, but I did try the regular version as well this year. I should have put that on here. And I would say for the regular version, I like it more than the sparkle version. The sparkles are nice, but they don't add as much sparkle as I would like. So anyways, it's going to stay in the second tier. I think that's a good place for it. So now we have the Lion Brand Respun, whatever name. The Lion Brand names are always like 20 years long. Let's see. I think I'm going to put this one in This Is Fine. I feel like I liked it in the video a little bit more, and that is also a bad video. Please don't go watch that. It is just thick and sort of hard to get your tension right, and it did snag a little bit if I remember right. And honestly, the end result of it was all right, but it's not my favorite. So I am going to put it right here. It's not a terrible yarn by any means, and I feel like it would have better purposes other than amigurumi, but I just don't think to reach for it. So I am just going to keep it right here. All right, we have another t-shirt yarn, y'all. You know where it's going to go. Straight to Brother This one was so frustrating. I was still pretty new to filming when I tried this yarn, which, I mean, I've only had my channel for almost a year now, so I'm pretty new to filming even now. But back then, I feel like it was pretty much the first yarn that I absolutely hated on this channel. And it was hard for me to know how to react. I feel like I've gotten better at being able to share my opinions. But back then I was like, well, I want to be nice and I don't want anyone to get offended. I don't know. But I still try to be nice. But with that yarn, it's the worst. I hated it. It's kind of the opposite of the Big Twist t-shirt in that it's much more stretchy, but it's still made of that polyester t-shirt material, and it's just I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Don't like the end result. And I think I did end up donating the rest of that yarn, which I never do. So I did end up keeping the Big Twist t-shirt yarn, although I may end up getting rid of it soon. I feel like I kept it because I thought maybe I would make some baskets or like a rug or something out of. I don't know if I will end up doing that. But in my opinion, the Lazy Days yarn is not even really good for that. Like if you like the Lazy Days, whatever, again, these Lion Brand names are so long. Cover Story, Lazy Days, whatever it is. If you like that yarn, please tell me what you use it for. I feel like people are like make baskets and bags and stuff like that with it. I don't like it at all. But I don't like this one either. They're both bad. It's just this type of yarn is just not for me, y'all. Now we have a good one. Catch Velvet. She is going straight to the top. She is a star. I love the Catch Velvet yarn. It is my go-to chenille. You guys know that I do work with them on making social media content, but they don't pay me to say anything about their yarns here. I just really do like it. It is a chenille yarn that does not break when you're sewing with it. Amazing. And it's so soft. I love it. So it is going straight up there to the top where it belongs. I think is this Super Saver Metallic? It's so hard to read that. Super Saver Metallic. I did not like this one. You know what? I'm going to put it in This Is Fine because I did like how much it sparkles. I don't know if you can see it. Well, the background is going to be this, so you won't be able to. But on my shelf, it sparkles so much. It's so beautiful, but it is not easy to work with. If you watch that video, it was kind of snagging, and the metal part of it was like coming off. Not a great job there, Red Heart. We've been kind of in a fight this year, me and Red Heart. I have not been that impressed with their products lately. Okay, so now we have another Catch one, Catch 100% cotton. And I feel like I always say this wrong, and people have like gotten on to me. I don't know what all of the numbers are supposed to be with yarn. I always forget. I know there's like 4 weight is medium and 5 weight is bulky, but I don't remember what the other ones are called. And I don't even remember what this one is classified as, but it is a lightweight, like thin cotton. And to be honest, up until this year, I tolerated cotton yarns for certain things, but I didn't love them. This one, I love. I love it for making like dishcloths. That's kind of what I would tolerate cotton yarn for, because if you know that using like an acrylic yarn for a washcloth is not going to be any good. And so I love it for all of that kind of stuff. I've made headbands with it, but I also love it for plushies. Like, it is so nice. I do wish that they would make basically this exact yarn, but in a slightly thicker weight, because it would be nice to have a thicker yarn. But it is not stiff. It doesn't split. It has like a nice texture to it. Like, it still has a lot of structure, but it has a nice softness to it too. I love it. So anyways, that one's going straight to the top. Now we're getting into these glow in the dark yarns. I think this is the chenille one. No, this is the regular one. So I realized after making that video that most people were saying that they had a different one of the Lion brand glow in the dark yarns that they actually really liked, and that this one was just okay. And that's basically how I feel. I'm going to put it in This Is Fine. Yeah, I'm going to put it in This Is Fine, because I was disappointed in the glowing, and maybe the other line of yarn from this brand is better. I don't know, but it just didn't hold its charge for that long. I wasn't that impressed with it. It was fine to work with, honestly. It felt like a cotton yarn to work with, but I just didn't like that it just didn't wow me when it came to the glow. So I am going to put it there. And now we have the chenille version, which actually this one's going straight to Brother. This one was awful. It was so stiff. It was hard to work with. There's really just no point in it, because if you want a chenille yarn, you are using it because the end result is soft and cuddly. This felt like a pipe cleaner in the very worst way. I mean, all of the disrespect when I say that it felt like a pipe cleaner, because I actually kind of like pipe cleaners for what they are, but I don't want a plushie made out of that. So I don't know. Anyway, that one's going to go straight to Brother. I was also just so disappointed in that it didn't have very much yardage. And that was my fault for not paying more attention to the listing, but I didn't even have enough to finish the project that I wanted to finish. So that was disappointing. Okay, now moving on to Premier Puzzle, which I did do a whole Will It On Me video on, and I actually loved it in the Will It On Me video. I was just impressed by how easy it was to use. I liked the texture. And so here's the little behind the scenes that I actually went and ordered Premier Puzzle to make my very first cardigan. But if you'll recall, I talked about how my first cardigan attempt completely failed. Well, part of why I didn't fight harder to save it is because I really didn't like the way this yarn looked for a sweater. And I was so surprised by that, because you would think that that would kind of be more what it's for. I feel like the main purpose for it is blankets. That's what they always show on their packaging. And it would make a nice blanket. It definitely would. But I did not like the way the colorway looked at all. I am attempting to try and separate it so I can use the yarn again, even though I just, like I said, I didn't really like it that much for a sweater, but I do like it for plushies. I think it would make a great blanket. And I think I'm going to put this one in holding space, because I wouldn't hesitate to buy it again for a specific project, but it's not like a go-to, especially now that the first colorway I actually really loved. And then this other colorway, it looked pretty in the little sample that they had, but the sample was knitting, and you guys know that's not always going to look the same. So yeah, it's just going to go right there, middle of the road. Oh my gosh, here's another bad one. The Troy, whatever it is. Velvet Star, going straight to Brother. This one was another one that was just so disappointing because it looks beautiful. Sparkles, gorgeous. And it's so soft. The end result looks nice. This is the absolute worst yarn in terms of shedding I have probably ever tried, ever. It sheds so bad. You guys remember how bad it was? I still feel like I'm finding little sparkles from this yarn on my desk. It was awful. So disappointing. Broke like crazy. Just a bad, this yarn should not, like, this is one of those, like, it should not be on the market. Like, with the rest of these, it's like, okay. Like, this one I don't understand the point of. These two are, like, for other people, just not for me. Like, this one shouldn't be on the market. That's how bad it is. So, okay, we are moving on to Catch Fluffy, which was how I discovered this company. I tried it for a Trying Fluffy Yarns video. I love this yarn too. Oh, come on now. There we go, right to the top, which all of the Catch yarns are what is in the top right now. And I'm just realizing as I am filming this that I forgot a yarn. Hold, please. Okay, sorry about that. I realized that I forgot to put Big Twist Baby Bear on here, so we will get to that later. So let's get back to what we were talking about, which was Catch Fluffy. This is how I found this brand, and I fell in love with them. I absolutely love this fluffy yarn. It is so easy to work with for a fluffy yarn. I know fluffy yarns are not the easiest in general, but it has such a nice amount of fluff on it too. Love this yarn. Okay, the last Catch yarn of the day is the Catch Baby Cotton. Now, this one is actually going to go in very demure, very mindful, because I do like it. So now this one is made with cotton and acrylic blend. Now the other one is a 100% cotton. So this one has the acrylic to it. So it does make it actually quite soft, but I do find that I just don't reach for it as often as I reach for the other cotton. I'm not sure why that is. So I am just going to put it right here. It's not a bad, I mean, it's a great yarn, honestly. It's just not a go-to for me personally. So I'm just going to put it right there. Okay, now we have, oh no. Another bad one. We have Big Twist Favorite Faux Fur. This is absolutely not my favorite. Straight to Brother This is another one similar to the Troy yarn Velvet Star that it just shouldn't be on the market. I hated this yarn. It shed so bad. This one also like irritated me more. Like this one shed and that was annoying. This one shed and it like got in my nose. Like I was sneezing all day after that. It was awful. I hated it. It's where it belongs, right there in the bottom. I don't know how people do videos where they are talking for hours. It makes my throat so dry. Moving on to Easy Peasy, the Woobles yarn. I'm going to put this in. This is fine. It is fine. That's pretty much what it is. It's not as bad as these two. It is the best t-shirt yarn that I have tried so far. It's just simply not for me. And I do feel like the tension and the amount of gaps that people have in their work when they work with this yarn. I've heard so many people in the comments were saying that it is great for beginners, but now that they're moved on, they're like, I would never pick it up again. So really, I feel like that is the purpose, is for beginners, and that's great. But I do feel like some beginners might get frustrated because they're like thinking that it's the problem not getting the tension right, but it's really the yarn's problem. So I do feel like a great tool for what it is, but just not for me. Okay, now we have Mandala, the Lion Brand Mandala yarn. This is one that I have not talked about in a review. I did crochet with it while I was filming 2 different videos, actually, 2 pretty low watched videos. So maybe you haven't seen them, but I have made 2 projects out of this yarn this year. I made a baby blanket for my youngest niece, and then I made a shawl for my grandma. And so I obviously liked it enough to rebuy it, but I am disappointed because every skein that I bought, so now I have bought like 4 skeins of it. I have a couple more on my shelf there, but every skein has had at least one factory knot. They end up having like little bits where the dye is like not correct. I also hate that not every skein is exactly the same. So you'll buy 2 skeins in the same colorway, but one will start with yellow and one will start with purple. I hate that. But I really do like the texture of it. I like the end result with it. Working with it is really easy. I think I'm going to put it in holding space. Because I obviously have bought this again. I could also put it in, yeah, I think I'll put it here. I could put it in Very Demure, but those factory knots make me very angry. So I'm going to leave it right there. All right, we've got Karen Colorama Halo, and you guys know where this one is going. Talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing. I don't know the right words, the right order in that quote, but truly, if there were a yarn, it is so good. Loved making my sweater with it. Loved making a plushie with it. I beg of Karen and Yarn Inspirations, do not get rid of this. I feel like it's on the way out, or maybe they're reformulating it. I don't know what they're doing to it, but it is like becoming sold out in a lot of places. And it seems like they're not restocking it. And that's going to make me so sad. I love this yarn. Okay, moving on to Bernat Baby Blanket Sparkle. So I had tried Bernat before this year, but this is particularly the sparkle variety. I really liked this yarn, and I did end up repurchasing it to make a different project. Like I tried it in a video, and then I tried it in a second video. So I like it enough to repurchase it, obviously. But I do wish the sparkle was a little bit sparklier. I think I put it in holding space. That's a good place for that one. I like it, just not really a go-to. I do just wish that they made it a little bit more where the sparkles were like evident on camera. Like if I look over at my shelf and like look at all the sparkle yarns that I have, like it doesn't stand out that much. So I am going to put it right there. I do like Bernat for what it is. I know it's not the easiest yarn to work with, but I do like it. It's nice and strong, and makes a nice thick plushie if you're into that. Is this Bernat Pipsqueak? Some of these pictures are so bad. Okay, I think this is Bernat Pipsqueak yarn. I think I'm also going to put that one in holding space. It is a good yarn. I do like it, but if I remember right, there's only like 3 colorways in it. I wonder if that's another one that they're phasing out. I have no idea, but I do like it, and it feels like a terry cloth material in the best way. I do like it. I just wish they made more colors, and honestly, it's just one that I just don't think about. Like, it doesn't stand out to me. And I feel like that really is because there's not that many colors. So when I think of something I want to make, and it has to be a specific color, if you only have 3 colors in your yarn, I'm not going to choose it. Okay, so now we are on to Premier Little Bunny, which I think I was a hater last time when I put this in the bottom tier. And then Premier, the brand, commented on the video. They were like, nice video or something, which was so funny. I don't think I actually need to put this in the bottom tier. I think I'm going to put it in the second to the bottom, because this yarn did break on me as I was crocheting with it. I don't love that. And I just personally don't love the texture. I feel like a lot of people do. A lot of people say this is their favorite fluffy yarn. But to me, like, the texture of this one is so much better. So I am going to put it there. It's not that terrible. I did end up using the rest of my skein. I made some worms and a chicken with it, and those turned out really good. It's just not my favorite. Oh, now we're moving on to our Hobie yarns. They're all right here together. Is this the Rainbow Cotton? Yes. Now I liked this one in the video. I did, but it wasn't my favorite in the video, but I have ended up using, I think, almost all of the rest of the skein on a couple of other projects. I made some granny square projects, and I also made the stocking that you guys saw in my ornament video. And I liked it better for both of those projects. I think probably because they were made with like half double crochets and double crochets, where it's a little bit looser, where you're not having to pull the stitches super tight. So I do think I'm just going to put this one in holding space, because again, it's probably not like my go-to, but I do like it. I actually enjoyed it. And I do like it more for other things other than amigurumi, it seems, but it's just not my go-to. So it's going to go right there. Okay, moving on to Hobie Toucan. Sorry, this is so tiny on my computer. It's hard for me to read. Yes, this is the Toucan yarn. Oh goodness. I think I am going to also put this one in holding space. It is a good yarn. I did like it, but I feel like I've tried other chenille yarns since then that I just like more. Like I really love the Catch Velvet one, and that's kind of a similar weight. I also love Big Twist Baby Bear, which we haven't got to yet. Spoiler alert. I just like both of those better. and they are a similar weight to this one. So yeah, I'm gonna put that one right there. It's not a bad yarn at all by any means. I think it was my favorite of the bunch, but it's just not one that I really think about. So it's going right there in holding space. Now, this is the acrylic XL. I'm going to put this one in. This is fine. It's nothing special. I think that's why. I think with Hobbii, you do have to order it. It does take a week to get here, which is really not bad for international shipping, but it's just, I have to really, really like a yarn if I'm going to have it shipped in. I do obviously ship a lot of my yarns in, but I do love just being able to go to my local yarn store and just like touch the yarn and feel the yarn and all of that. And so if I am going to order a yarn, what I'm trying to say is if I'm going to order a yarn, it needs to be a good special yarn. Like I feel like this is not any different than any other acrylic yarn I could go down and pick up at Joann. So yeah, it's going to go right there. This is not a terrible yarn. It doesn't belong in the bottom tier. It's just like, it's fine. Okay, now we have the Boheme Velvet, which I was informed that Hobbii does sell yarns that are from other people as well. So this one isn't like a Hobbii brand yarn, but you can find it on the Hobbii website, if that makes sense. And this one's also going to go in holding space. It's just, once again, one of those I'm just like, I don't think about it. It was good. I didn't like how tiny those skeins were for the price. And Hobbii in general kind of has like prices all over the place. I get their emails and sometimes they're having like huge sales and I'll think about it the next day and the sale's already over. And then the price difference was so much. So then I'm like, I'm going to wait for the next sale, but then I miss it. Anyways, that's a me problem, not a problem of this yarn. But yeah, it's just, I just don't think about it. It's just going to go right here. Okay, now we are on to, is this Big Twist Value, but particularly for the Rainbow Bright colorway. Is that what that one's called? I think so. I did not like this colorway. I'm not going to lie to you. I feel like this one is on my shelf still, like almost in its entirety, because I just don't like this colorway at all. Now, I like Big Twist Value just fine. It's not on this list because I tried it in previous years. And I do like it for what it is, and you can get pretty good prices on it. And again, it's an acrylic yarn I can just go down and buy. But particularly for this colorway, I'm going to put it in This Is Fine, because it's just like, it's not offensive. I just don't like it. Okay, now we have Caron Simply Soft, particularly again for the colorway, which you can't even see on this picture, but it's for, I think it's again called Rainbow Bright. And it's once again a This Is Fine. Caron Simply Soft and I are also in a beef because I used to love Caron Simply Soft. I used it all the time for certain projects. I used to really like the shininess effect of it. It's not really where I'm at as a person right now that I really like that texture as much, but the quality has gone downhill so much with this particular line. Now, I loved the Caron Colorama Halo one, and I felt the quality of that one was really good, but the quality of Caron Simply Soft has really gone down over time. I feel like the past several times I've used it, it's had factory knots or like snags in the yarn. And I just didn't like that colorway either. So it's going right there. Not the worst thing ever, but just not great. Sorry if my lipstick is getting messed up. I keep having to take drinks because my goodness, talking this long is hard. Okay, now we have Pioneer Woman, whatever this yarn is called. I cannot read it and I don't remember the exact name of it. But the Pioneer Woman yarn, which I think I'm going to put it in holding space. It's again, like it's fine. I just don't think about it. And I think because it is a weight 3, that is almost a weight 4. It's really like a weight 3.5. So it doesn't really match with anything. Because if I'm using a size 3, it's a little bit too big. If I'm using a size 4, it's a little bit too small. So I don't love that. And I also hate that I made that whole video and then it seems like it's out of stock everywhere now, and it felt like the video was pointless. But yeah, I mean, it's a fine yarn. It wasn't terrible. It just, not the best ever. Okay, we are on to Big Twist Living in this beautiful rainbow color, which I think I put in the top tier last time, if I'm not mistaken. And it is just one of those things that you have to have the right project for, when you have the right project for it, it's great. But when you don't have the right project, you end up having to like take it apart into all of the separate colors to make sure that everything's even. And so I don't really like that. I love the texture of it. I love working with it, but I am going to put it in very demure, very mindful, because I did get frustrated because there was a project I wanted to use on it, and the colors were not like adding up to the right place that I wanted them to. So wait, this one I don't even think I have talked about on this channel. I think I tried this one at the very, very, very beginning of this year before I had this channel, and then I just never ended up talking about it ever. And that is the Bernat Velvet Plus. So my children actually picked out this yarn for me to make plushies with them in it. And I made the first one for my younger daughter. I made her a bunny, and I had to apologize to my older daughter because I was like, I'm not making you anything with this yarn because I hate it. It is so thick. It's just another one of those yarns kind of similar to, oh my gosh, is that yarn not on here either? Oh, it is. Okay. I was going to get mad at myself. But it's kind of similar to the Juicy Couture, the thicker one, and then also the thicker faux fur one that I hated. When a yarn is that thick, it is just so hard to get your tension right when it comes to making amigurumi. So I don't know whether this yarn would be good for other things. I think I just have to face the facts that I just don't really like yarn that is super, super thick. I like a good bulky weight, but I think anything above that, I just don't really like. Now, I have a place in my heart, again, for Bernat blanket yarn. In my opinion, the end result of a Bernat blanket yarn plushie is always pretty good. It's not too hard to get your tension right, but when it gets any thicker than that, I just don't like it. So this one is actually going in Brother and I didn't even ever talk about it. I think I still have some blue on my shelf back here, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this because I hated it. It would probably, again, be something that would be better for a blanket or something like that, but I don't even really like working with it enough to purchase it for that. So yeah, it's straight down there. Okay, another fluffy yarn. So many fluffy yarns in this list. So this is the Just Plush yarn that I did, where I did a video collaboration with my friend Shannon. And the plushie that I made with this yarn, my older daughter fell in love with it so much. She loves that thing. She's like, takes pictures of it and draws little comics for it and stuff. So she loves that little guy. She named him Taxi. So anyways, this yarn was quite easy to work with. I think I'm going to put it in very demure, very mindful. I love the fluffiness factor. It is easy to work with. Do I want to put it in the top tier? I don't think I'm going to put it in the top tier. As fluffy yarns go, I still like the Catch Fluffy better than this one. And I like the color range, and I like that you can just like order it when you want to. Whereas this one, you have to find the dot. You know, I don't need to justify my choices to you, but you know, I keep accidentally scrolling. I am sorry if this video is a mess in editing. Editing Rachel is going to hate me, but I love making these kind of videos, but trying to figure out how to get everything to look right. I hope that I'm doing a good job. Okay, now we are at, is this the Lion Brand Faux Fur one? Yes. This one is going in. This is fine. These kind of yarns, again, are just like not really for me in terms of the like thickness, trying to get the tension right. It's similar to the Bernat Velvet in that way, where I like the end result. So here's the thing. That's why this one's going up here. I like the end result of the Go for Faux one. I did not like the end result of the Bernat Velvet Plus one. I hated it. So it is a nice result and like really beautiful. I made a really cute little worm. I made a duck with it, and that is the cutest duck I have ever seen. I love that thing. I just don't love working with it. That it really irritated my hand, and I also didn't like that the skein didn't come with very much yardage. So I also put Premier Puzzle Yarn on here twice. Okay, well, we already did that one. Okay, moving on to the Red Heart Brushed. I'm going to put this in Holding Space. I feel like Holding Space are my yarns where I'm just like, I just don't really think about it. Aside from the Mandala one, I actually do. That one's like the top of the whole, like if it could be right here, then it would be right here. But the rest of these are just like yarns that I just don't really think about. I'm kind of just like, you know, it was there and it was not bad. We're holding space for it, but it's just like not top of mind, right? Okay, now moving on to the Just Yarn Dream Chenille. Man, I feel like I put this in the top tier last time. Do I want to again? No, I'm going to put it in Very Demure, Very Mindful this time. I wish that Premier would have chosen one of these two as the yarn that you can order on their website instead of the Little Bunny, because I just don't like Little Bunny as much. I don't like the texture of it as much. Dream Chenille is a thinner version of the plush, both in, I feel like it is a finer weight and it's also a smaller amount of fluffiness to it. I feel like both of them are pretty equal in my mind, just depending on the project you want to make. But I hate that you can only find it at the Dollar Tree. It's so annoying. Okay, now we have the Juicy Couture Extra Large, which, do I want to put this in Brother? I think we're putting it in This Is Fine because it isn't as bad as some of these other ones. It was not great. It was not great. But I do really like the end result. Am I just like misremembering how much I actually did hate this yarn? I don't know. I've slept since then. I do just feel like it's not as bad as some of these other ones, but it's not great. Not one I would really repurchase because, again, this type of really thick yarn is just not for me. But it's not terrible. It's not the best experience ever, I'll tell you that. What was one of the best experiences ever is Big Twist Baby Bear. And again, Big Twist, Joanne, whoever is making the decisions, please do not get rid of this yarn. I feel like this is another one that they're maybe phasing out. It's hard to tell, but I feel like I used to see a whole display at my local Joanne, and now it's not there as much. I feel like ordering online, they're like out of some of the colors. And I would be so sad to see this one go because I actually prefer it over the Big Twist Posh. And I'm always seeing Posh at my stores and I don't always see Baby Bear. But in my opinion, Baby Bear is just much softer, easier to work with. It's a little more closer to a velvet yarn. Do you like some of the colors that it comes in? I like that it comes in some nice neutral colors. But I really wish that there was like some fun, bright colors, just some, more variety. Really just wish that they would make more colors and just like, please don't get rid of it. Okay, here is my finished list. I feel like it looks pretty unbalanced. I hate that this has more space in it, so it's giving like a little line there. Maybe I need to delete some of this. There, that looks better. So I did not realize until I started editing that I actually forgot 3 different yarns that I tried for the first time this year. So the first one is the True Blue Lion Brand yarn. And I would put this one in This Is Fine. It was not great and it split quite a bit. I didn't love the texture for amigurumi. I still want to try it for another project. I heard a lot of people say in the comments of that video that it works better for garments and that kind of thing. So I'm willing to give it another chance. It's not as bad as the other ones in the Brother category. So it is going in and This Is Fine for me. And then we have the Mainstays Velvet yarn, the one that I got at Walmart. Now, this is not a bad yarn at all. I actually enjoyed working with it quite a bit, but it's just a yarn that I forget about it, hence why I forgot to put it on this list. So I think that I will put this in Holding Space because it is a yarn I would consider repurchasing. I also feel like it doesn't come in as many colors. That could be why I forget about it because I'm just not really that interested in the colors that it comes in. They also don't carry it at my local Walmart. I had to find it at a Walmart a few towns over. So, it's just one of those things that I just forget about, but it's not a bad yarn at all. And then we have the Big Twist Posh yarn, which I did mention as I was talking about Big Twist Baby Bear, but I totally forgot that I tried that for the first time this year as well. And I'm going to put that in Very Demure, Very Mindful because I do really like this yarn. I just don't like it as much as I like the Baby Bear. But I have repurchased this yarn. I've done a few different projects with it and I would repurchase it again depending on the project. But it's just not my very, very top favorite. So there you go. Those are the ones that I forgot. I'm sorry this video is kind of a mess and all over the place, but I hope you still enjoy it. Okay, bye. Not a lot up at the top. I found some good yarns this year, and I found some like all-time favorites this year, but I had a lot of stinkers. I had a lot of bad ones. I had a lot of just fine ones. Lots and lots of just fine ones here in the middle. But there were some stinkers. I honestly wasn't expecting this many to go in the bottom tier. I was really only thinking of these two, but I do feel like these deserve to be here. I'm so sorry to say. You guys, my voice is killing me, so I can't do my full outro right now. But do let me know what you are working on as you watch today's video. You can also like and subscribe and do all of the things. And thank you again for watching. I'll see you next time.